Welcome to GRTV's Focus on Issues. I'm Julie Way from the Community Media Center. Our focus today will be the importance of exercise. Joining us are a couple of different local experts who will tell us about how we could safely start a new exercise program and also why it's so important to our overall health. Welcome.
Thank you, Julie.
Thank you both.
Thanks.
We're looking forward to hearing about how we can all start an exercise program and just get healthier. And to start off, I would like to have you each introduce yourselves and talk a little bit about your work and why this is so important. So we'll start with you.
So my name is Kim Delafuente, and I work for Spectrum Health Healthier Communities. And in my role as an exercise educator, I work a lot with our staff, helping them to identify different ways that they can work with clients effectively. And then I also do quite a bit of community education. So it's great to be here and to share the exercise message.
Thank you, and very important pieces, just connecting people there to resources.
Absolutely.
And I'm Teri Harmon. I work with the YMCA of Greater Grand Rapids, and anything to do with health and wellness I have a part of, which is exciting. I currently have an office over at our new Y, the Mary Free Bed YMCA, and we just opened in early December, and a lot of exciting things happening there as well. So we are bringing exercise and the ability to exercise to people of all abilities.
Let's just start talking a little bit more about what the benefits of exercise are overall. I mean, some are obvious, but some aren't. So would love to hear your thoughts about that.
Sure. So, I think a lot of times we focus on the physical benefits of exercise, and people pretty much across the board associate exercise with losing weight. And while there's definitely a component of that, I think what gets lost a lot of times is it's not just about the physical pieces, but about the mental pieces as well. And so I think when people can engage in exercise or physical activity for the reason of kind of giving themselves that way to reduce stress or boost their mood or just kind of find a diversion from what they're doing. I think that the mental health pieces are equally as important as the physical. And the other thing that I like about that focus is I don't necessarily know if I go out and exercise how that's affecting my cholesterol and my blood pressure. I can't tell that, but I know if I feel better. So tell me what's going to happen to me in the next 5 minutes, right, as a result of going on that walk. And you just come back and you just feel refreshed. So I think that putting that focus on the mental health piece is really important.
Absolutely, such a mood booster, decreasing your stress over time. I mean, so many benefits. I agree that, again, you can't see what those mental health benefits are. Yeah, would you like to weigh in on some of those benefits?
Another thing that's really interesting, I know Kim and I have worked on and off together for a lot of years, and she knows this as well. Our science studies tell us that when people are exercising for overall health benefits, rather than specific benefits like a flatter stomach or weight loss or something that is more about aesthetics, that their retention is greatly increased. So if I am exercising because I want to be in a better mood or feel better, or I want to prevent depression or reduce depression, or I want to be healthier because I have a family history of high cholesterol, I'm going to actually stick with it. Whereas if I get focused on having a flatter stomach or losing fat because I want to look better in a bathing suit or something, for a lot of us that's not sustainable. And if it is temporarily, it's not sustainable for when we're 70 or 80. We might not feel good in a bathing suit anyway, and as we age, things shift around a little bit no matter how much we exercise. And it's so learning to be comfortable and content on the inside and feeling the benefits from the inside out is really where it's at, and that's really what's important.
Sure, making it more of that lifestyle change, because again, like say you lose that weight and then why keep going until it becomes a problem again or something like that. So Kimberly, what about in relation to like chronic disease? Obviously that's part of what your work is through Spectrum Health at Healthier Communities. So weigh in on that.
So regular physical activity has a huge role in not only preventing many different type of chronic diseases, but also in the treatment of them. And so what I see, and I'm sure Teri sees it too, is a lot of times when people have a diagnosis of high blood pressure, maybe their weight's too high, or they have some heart problems, or other things going on, that people tend to restrict their activity as opposed to, just keep moving and keep going. And what gets lost in that is it actually kind of creates this downhill spiral where the less active they become, really the sicker they become in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
That's a great point.
And at the Y, we have the diabetes prevention program, and it's for people that are at a risk for getting diabetes. It's not for people that have already been diagnosed, which we can work with people that have diabetes as well, but people that have those risk factors in order to help them start to feel better about themselves and to make those healthier lifestyle choices. And it's about taking baby steps. It's about learning to shop in the produce section. Maybe you take your kids and you let them pick out a few things that are unusual and different, and if they participate in picking it out and cooking, they're going to start eating healthier. It's about giving them tips. How do I increase my daily activity? What exercise programs might be suitable for me as someone who doesn't exercise or who hasn't exercised? How am I going to feel successful? And then we also have our Live Strong program that is for people that are either in treatment for cancer or have been through treatment for cancer. And again, another program where it's really important to keep moving, and you end up feeling better emotionally and physically when you are exercising, even during something as traumatic as being diagnosed with cancer. So from cholesterol to just general well-being or being at a risk for a chronic disease, exercise and healthy eating can make all the difference.
Benefits for everybody, no matter who you are, what your body is, all of those things.
Absolutely.
And that's kind of the perfect segue to what we really like to focus on, which is starting and sustaining an exercise program. And we'd love to hear a little bit about that. How do you pick one that's right for you, and how do you do it in a safe, meaningful way?
Mm-hmm. Well, I get this all the time, and Kim probably does too. What's the best exercise for me to do? And my answer is whatever you like and whatever you're going to stick with. So someone say they loved to dance when they were younger, and now they're in middle age or a little bit older. Maybe a dance-based fitness program and starting out slowly. Someone who was an athlete. I've met gentlemen that are, a little bit older, 60s, 70s, 80s, even in their 90s. They used to lift weights, back in high school. And so they're more interested in some weight training again. They're doing some things that maybe were familiar, and the machines have changed, or the weights have changed a little bit, how the technique would be, but that interests them and that's fun for them. And all the way to, what about a walk in your neighborhood, and go with your kids and notice new things being planted in the spring, or just go to a park and things like that. So it's not a one size fits all. So I know it's important to sit down and talk with someone who's contemplating that. Certainly we want them to check with their doctor first and make sure that they're okay to exercise. But a lot of it is stepping back and finding, what do you like? What's going to draw you to stick with it, and doing a variety of things too, everything from building bone density to increasing your heart health, making sure that you're getting your heart rate up, and then some balance and flexibility, mobility exercises that's great for aging populations, which we all are, right? Yes. One way or another.
Well, that's some great advice, I think. Picking something you like, again, that you can sustain for a longer period of time. Again, if you're more focused on, like, I want to lose weight and I'm just going to work out like crazy until it happens, who can keep that going for years and years and years, right? So, and also love that, make sure we talk to our doctors and see what they recommend. What is it safe and healthy for you to do? So always a good thing.
Right.
So otherwise, what about just being more active in general? I mean, we have this kind of trend of the United States. Obesity is always on the radar. It's, something people are worrying about. A lot of us just have bad eating and health habits in general. What are your recommendations just for, being more active in general, and does that help too?
It definitely helps. And I think just finding those opportunities throughout the day to move is key. Unfortunately, a lot of our society is forced us to sit more. We're working at computers, so we don't always have the opportunities to move. So we have to become intentional about moving and really thinking that out. There's a lot of research showing us that even standing has some health benefits. So breaking up long periods of sitting with standing can be helpful. And then just, as I said, finding those opportunities to move throughout the day. I think a lot of times what happens is people think, I don't have 30 minutes to exercise, so I'm not going to do anything because I'm not going to get any benefit from it. And that's absolutely not true. So I think one of the messages here today needs to be that even those smaller spurts of activity is better than nothing, and can really do quite a bit to improve health.
Yeah, and we know there's been studies, if you take a 60-minute block and you do it all at once, or 6 times during the day you take 10 minutes, the results are very similar.
Yes.
There's not much difference. In fact, there's some research that show the breaking it up can have even more benefits. And I know in my mind, I would do this, I don't have an hour, forget it, I'm not gonna get it in today. And now I've kind of conditioned myself, you know what, if I can do some push-ups and some squats and just even body weight exercises, I don't need to get to the Y if I can't get to the Y today, or to get out my weights or whatever it is, a video, stream it on my device, that I can take those little steps to just get out and get a walk in. A lot of workplaces now, I love it at our new Y, we've got a little button and we just raise our desks up and we can stand and work, and that's wonderful. If you don't have a place at your business, you can get away from your desk, go for a 2 or 3 minute walk every hour or so. I sit on a ball. You probably do that too.
Love that.
And that can be because you're moving around, you're working your core a little bit more. I love to do this when I talk with both older adults and with younger kids. I bring in a flip chart and I do a now and then category, and I'll say 100-year span. Okay, if you wanted to go talk with your neighbor then 100 years ago, what would you do? What do you do now? And we go back and forth. If you wanted clean clothes, if you wanted a snack, if you wanted a meal, and the difference, and when you lay it all out and you list about 20 things, you see why our lifestyles have become so sedentary, and that really makes us start to think, wow, I do need to park further away. I do need to be more intentional, as Kim said, and really make that effort to get up and do things.
Great, easy ways, and it helps break up the workday, and then I feel like you're more productive at work too, because you have gotten that break, you're feeling healthier, difference between, am I gonna keep sitting here and type out an email, or can I walk down the hall and go have this conversation? So
get some water and then come back and you'll be more productive, right?
Absolutely. Okay, so let's talk a bit about goals. So what are realistic goals, again, for just an everyday person? They might think they don't have some time or whatever, but what are realistic goals that people can set and actually stick to?
So I think a lot depends on, first of all, what the person's history is with exercise. So if they've been successful in the past, they have something to work from, right? And that can be helpful. If someone's new to exercise, it can just be a little bit overwhelming. Where do I start? What is this going to look like for me? What does it feel like? So I think one of the things that we have access to now that I think is great are the activity trackers, like the Fitbits and some of the apps that are out there. And what I really like about those kinds of things is that it's giving continual feedback. So it's easy to track, for example, the number of steps that you take. It's easy to look at that at lunchtime and say, ooh, I only have 1,500 steps. My goal today is to try to get 8,000, for example. And so I know that I'm really going to have to pick it up between now and the time I go to bed to get that in. So I think that goal-wise, even starting with something that simple can have a lot of benefit to it. And then, as someone figures out those opportunities to get more active and to take those extra steps, then that just helps to build just that feeling of success. And it's like, yeah, I can do this, and I have been doing more. And from there, then they can find some more information, some more programs, like at the Y. And there's certainly a lot of opportunities, and I'll let Teri speak to that. But I think a lot of times it's just that getting started. And I think too, what we see, especially this time of year with New Year's resolutions, is everyone's gung ho and they're just excited to be, they bought those gym memberships or whatever it is, and we all know that, it doesn't take long for a lot of that to fall off. And that comes back to being realistic about what it is, that they're trying to achieve.
Sure.
So,
but the tracking is a great motivation. You see that and you want to keep going.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I did a presentation for the Y leaders in Lansing, and I did some research, top fitness trends. It's important for us to know. And in 2015 and 16, number one was wearable technology. In 2014, it wasn't even on the list, didn't even exist at all, let alone be number one. So a lot of people like that. Personally, it doesn't work very well for me. I don't need that. I don't like that constant feedback. I feel like I have enough clutter in my head that I don't need that. But I think for a lot of people, it is a motivator. And you're right, you look down and say, oh, I do want to hit that goal. And Kim got this right on. She knows her stuff. So many people set these lofty goals. I want to lose 30 pounds in 2 months, or we've got to step back from that and be easier and gentle with ourselves. Society puts a lot of pressure on us, to be parents, to be good workers, to work long hours, to, eat healthy and do all of these things. And I think when we can step back and say, you know what, I'm going to try to eat a fruit and a vegetable every day, just one. Just if you're going from not eating any or very few. Not that, oh, I'm going to be a vegan all of a sudden, or, just taking those little baby steps, and then we can feel good, and then it's sustainable. Same thing with activities. I'm going to be at the gym every day and work out for an hour, and we like to say, really? Yeah. Does that work with your schedule? What about your, your kids that have 4 activities a night, And then they end up not sleeping, which sleep should be on that list somewhere, because that's a really important part of health. So I think baby goals, and also journaling. How do you feel about your progress? Maybe journaling, maybe it's a Saturday night, 5 minutes in your journal. How do you feel about what you've accomplished this week towards your goal? What are some wins for the week? What are some disappointments? And then some strategies. How can I, defeat the strategies and get more wins for next Saturday when I sit down and take a moment to do that? So.
And I agree that, people so often focus on their failures instead of their successes. And so I think, getting in the habit of identifying, where was I successful this week? And what fell into place to make me successful? And then just building from there, as opposed to if we focus on our failures, let's
just give up.
Yeah, exactly.
So lots of different ways, though, that you can find a way that works for you to focus on those positives, and then, keep moving and, again, keep it sustainable. And that's what we want to do, make that lifestyle change.
Yeah.
It's funny. I sit down with clients, with members occasionally, and I've had people say, oh, I only got here twice this week. I want to get here 4 times. And, I could only stay for about half an hour of that, whatever it is, that body pump class. And then I'll talk to them a little bit, and I'll say, wait a minute, you got here twice this week, and you just told me how many things you... High five, good for you. What'd you think of that 30 minutes of the body pump? Oh my gosh, I was so sore, it was great. I felt muscles I haven't felt, and I felt stronger going up the steps next time. Pretty soon, within 5 minutes of talking about it, they're feeling really good about all they accomplished, but it's allowing people to be accepting of whatever will work for their lifestyle.
Exactly.
Again, great advice, and really, I think that lends itself to other areas in our lives too, just keeping that positive attitude and focusing on what was good, not what did we fail or not come up to our expectations about.
Right.
Well, we're getting ready to wrap up because after our discussion is finished, we're going to show a short exercise demonstration so we can just show, some folks how to get up and start moving a little bit, easily right in your own space. But to wrap up, I would like each of you to just kind of say how we can get in touch or learn more about the work that you do, and then also if there's just any other short closing statement, what do you want us to know? So
I think in closing, I would like the audience to just think about just their mental mindset about exercise. And if they're looking at it as a chore, then that just puts us in a whole different space than if we look at it as something that we get to do and something that we look forward to doing. And that's true for any type of change that we're trying to make. So just again, putting that positive spin on it is really important.
Very good.
Well, I want to just piggyback from what Kim said. You know, to join a place like the YMCA, you don't have to get in shape or look a certain way or be a certain way to walk in the door. People of all ages and abilities walk through our doors every day. And so whether you haven't exercised ever and you're in your 80s or 90s, or you're 16 years old and you want to go try a body flow or a yoga class with your mom, you know, you want to be in a place, in a state of mind where you're feeling good about what it is you're doing, and just keep moving forward in that direction of better health. And that's really what it's about. It's about acceptance, and it's about finding something that really speaks to you and not worrying about who's next to you or what you look like. None of that really matters. We're all on this journey together.
Very good. Well, thank you both for your time today and for all the awesome information you've provided to us. And we will look forward to hearing more about your work.
All right,
Thank you.
thanks.
So next we're going to see a short exercise demonstration that will show you how you can get started with your own program. Thanks for watching today.
Hello, I'm Teri Harmon with the YMCA of Greater Grand Rapids. I'm back, and we're here to show some things that we can do right at our desks at work. A lot of us sit way too much during the day, and we get achy backs, and our necks may be hurting, or our hands from sitting forward at the computer. So I brought along Theresa and Ashley, and we're going to show you a few things that you can do right at your desk. When we're forward, we're on our computers, our chest gets a little bit tight, our back gets a little rounded. We're going to show a downward facing dog. You don't have to get on the ground to do this. Simply take your hands on your desk. You're going to let your head fall between the desk, behind your hands, and get a nice stretch across the chest. This feels great. Tell them how good it feels. Yes? Yes, it feels really, really great. So it's stretching through the chest, and it can also strengthen the back muscles by pulling the shoulder blades together. Come on up, and then we'll show some things that you could even do with your chair. If you want to hold on to a chair, if your balance is a little off, or just have the chair there, you can do a knee up and then push back with your heel, and then squeeze the glutes. So a lot of times we get a little tight in the front of the hips, and we get a little weak through our glutes. So this is a great exercise where you're just pushing your heel. It's kind of like you're pushing something out of the way in a really nice tight squeeze there. Another thing, our legs get a little tight or a little weak, we can do a big hip circle. So you just would think of your toe drawing a big circle and just circle all the way around nice and smooth, and you can go in both directions and change it up, and this strengthens all the muscles through the side of the hip into the low back, and that's a great one to do as well. And then speaking of hips, we could step back with one foot in just a light lunge. So the toes are down, the heel is up, you bend the back knee a little bit, and then just pulling back a little bit with the shoulders, bringing the arm up overhead, and then you can even reach up and over, and that stretches the front of the body really nicely where we get really tight from sitting. These hip flexors, you hear people talk about tight hip flexors. This is an exercise, can you feel that, Ashley? That really stretches through the hip flexors, so that's a good one as well. We want to stay strong though, so stepping in, doing a squat a few times at your desk is great. Again, you can hold on or not, just sitting back and standing back up. You could even do a chair pose. Stay down there and hold that for a moment, ladies. So come on down and just sit holding that spot, and then that strengthens the quadriceps, it strengthens the glutes, the hamstrings, so that's a good one as well. And then the calves, nice to stretch the calves so you can hold onto the table. Just slide one heel back, push the heel down, stay up nice and tall, think about your posture, and then you of course would switch and do the other side. So those are a few things you can do right at work just to stretch and strengthen the body, and we'll be back with a few more exercises that you can do on your own. So we've got Ashley jumping rope. That's a great exercise. It's just a simple jump rope that you can buy anywhere. And we've also got some other things you can do. For a lot of us, jumping rope is exhausting, right? You jump for what, maybe a minute or two in practice, and it's tiring. But it's a great exercise. It's a good way to get fast cardio. While you're taking those breaks, I'll step back. But you can actually do a little figure 8 swing in front in a squat position. And you're still working your arms. You feel this through your core. I'll have Ashley stop, and then I won't get hit. And then you can double up that jump rope and use it just out in front of your body and do a squat. So that's a great way to incorporate some jump rope for some cardiovascular exercise. Maybe you're not a runner or you don't have time to do a long walk. So those are some things you can do. Maybe spend 10, 15 minutes in getting some great cardio doing the jump roping. We'll have Theresa come in and show us some exercise that we can do also with some elastic bands. These can be bought at sporting goods stores. Sometimes people have them in their homes from physical therapy. Sometimes they have handles on them, and what I love about these is you can travel with them. So you can roll them up, put them in a suitcase or a carry-on bag. You have no excuse when you're on vacation, so remember that next time. And it's a great way to get some strength training so you don't have to lug around big weights. We're going to show a partner row. So fun to do. You want to stand with your feet about hip bone width. We always want to start at the base. We want to have our knees soft, and we want to lengthen through our tailbone to just protect our back and draw our abdominals in and our shoulders down and back. We turn our palms to face each other, and we try to keep our wrists straight and strong. And then simply we just pull back and brush alongside of our ribs on doing a row. So this strengthens all the muscles in our back, especially the mid to upper back. And then we can transition this exercise to have our elbows out to the side and our palms down. So coming up in this direction, up tall, and then pulling back in a row. And this just takes the exercise in a little bit different place. How's that feel? Good. It's a great way to strengthen the back. So you can do that with a partner. If you don't have a partner, you can also let go. You can loop this around something, or you can just have a partner hold it. If they're not quite game, go ahead and try that. They can hold it for you and stand this way and do something different. But you can usually loop it around a pole or something, and that works really well for that. Why don't you show a bicep curl with the tubing? So that's something else you can do. You can do it for squats, lunges, but basically just getting in that same strong set position. It works just like weights. It gives your body resistance to build muscle. Speaking of our bodies, another great way to get strong is by body weight exercises. Squats and lunges we think about. Also push-ups are great. Let's get down and try a couple push-ups. So Ashley's going to show the push-ups on her toes, which is pretty difficult, wouldn't you say? It's a little bit, it takes a lot of strength to get there. Theresa's going to show an option on the knees. So go ahead and try a couple push-ups. And if you can't do it on your knees, you can start out and do the push-ups right on your kitchen counter or up against a wall. And those work really well. I work and teach some arthritis classes, and that's what I recommend. Just start right at your kitchen counter. Awesome. Let's stand up and stretch the chest out. So hands behind the back. And again, we can do a partner stretch where you put your fists in your back. If you're working out with a partner, and give them a nice stretch. Stretching is important as well as relaxing. Sometimes we forget. We beat our bodies up by exercising, or we eat on the go, and we don't take time to just relax. So trying to end the exercise segment, let's just stand up nice and tall and roll our shoulders down and back. We can even do this sitting at our desks. Closing our eyes, just taking 2 or 3 slow, deep breaths and really letting our shoulders fall away from our ears, just holding that position. Just hold the shoulders down and relax. And that can be really important to do. Just letting go, relaxing, reducing stress, softening the muscles in the face, taking some slow, deep breaths. So thank you, ladies, for being here today. You did a great job. And remember, you can work out whether you're at home or on the go, or you can come to the Y, and we'll help you on the right track. Thanks so much.